rip off. Welcome to D-Mop Garage. We are back on the 52 barn door ambulance. If you don't know what this build is, check out the playlist for previous episodes. Now, Oven Boy's left. We're continuing on the motor. Let's go and see what we have to do next. Okay, so we put the lifters in. I've set the tappets. We'll have to do it again because we're going to have to do the flywheel and work out our end float and all that stuff. But that part's done at least. Rocker covers are on. Tinware. Spark plugs are in. What I need to do now, I think, before we go any further, manifold is the issue. We're going to have to do some customization with the manifold. So grab the exhaust. We're going to have to bolt the exhaust on and work out exactly what we have to do. Let's get into it. Okay, so a few minutes later, and I have put a couple of parts on the manifold. Well, what's left of the manifold, you can see here. This is the issue we have. That's supposed to be there, and the rats have been gnawing at it. Those silly little rats. So we're going to have to rebuild this section here. And that is the other side, which has to go like so. So, yeah. And then obviously paint it in whatever the factory colour was. I think it was like a light grey or something similar. So we're going to have to find a little bit of this pipe. And, I don't know. I might just get the vernier caliper out and check the size of it. Okay, so we're looking about 18, 19 mil across. So we're just going to go at the back and see what I've got. Let's go for a bit of a walk. Junk, too thick. Ooh, hang on. This looks good. No, it's pretty bloody close. I wonder, see how much smaller it is. 0.5 mil. I think 0.5 mil can work. I think we might. It's only an old push on. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we chop it up. It's only going to go to the tip, so that is the closest thing we got. Okay, so it just goes. I can't believe this, but yeah, that handle on that lawnmower is absolutely perfect. I mean, even I chopped the radius out of it, and check this out, like that. Fits absolutely perfect. And then if I chop that back and I weld that onto there like that, mate, that's just going to work. That side's fine, and obviously I chopped 2 of them. So the other one is going to go, this one will be a little bit trickier because I don't have a lot of meat up in there to weld to, but as long as I can tack it, then I can get it done. So yeah, same deal with that. That's going to work perfectly too. Yoo-hoo, happy days. Don't have to go and buy steel. All right, let's get onto it.
A few moments later.
Righto guys, so we've done a little bit of welding. You can see here, I've just tacked that little section and I've run a little bit of a bead down here just to make sure it's sturdy before I pull it off. Then I can just give it a bit of a grind back and weld up around the back there, which I can't quite get to it. But yeah, I mean, that's gonna, you won't even know it's been repaired, man. It's just, I can't believe that pipe was exactly the right dimensions. Pretty damn cool. So here's this one's going to be a bit trickier because I don't have a lot of room on this side, but you can see I've got it all prepared, sandblasted it, and if we get in here, you can see it's going to go like that and like that. That's it. Tack, tack. Then we can pull it out there and fully weld it. And look at that, it even stays perfectly in position without me even touching it. How's that for precision cutting? All right, let's get this sucker done. All right, let's pull her off and get it up on the bench. Okay, after all the welding, grinding, linishing, I didn't want to bore you with all that. She's done. There you go. Sandblasted it back again. You wouldn't even know it's been repaired. So we're going to give that a lick of paint and call it good. Then we can bolt it in for the final time. Yeah, there you go. Just a little bit of fabrication. No, she's looking good. We can keep going. Okay, coat of silver high temp paint. And this thing is ready to rock and roll. So what we're going to do, only because I don't really trust these gaskets, I always just put a smear of this stuff around them. And same on the exhaust. These exhaust ports too. I just put a little smear around either side, because I've had many of them leak. after a few months of use. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to pull these off, and we're going to put a little bit of stuff on these and then seal them up. We can get the manifold on, get the exhaust on, might as well just put it on now, and then button that up, and then we can start with the tinware and generator and everything else. All right, let's glue these suckers on. Okay, after that little goof up, we've put the plates on. I'm going to get some new tinware screws for these because the old ones just look shanky old, and we don't want to do that. So anyway, it's all bolted in, which is good. I suppose next will be we've got to get the fan shroud and generator and all that put on too, and move forward from there. But yeah, she's starting to look like a little cute 25 horsepower motor. Okay, so one of the next things, I have a 6-volt battery in the house. It's actually one that I had in storage, so we're just bringing it back up to charge with our little 6-volt charger over there. That's one that you can just use your phone and do all your bits and pieces. Now we do have some new. That is our driver's door handle and lock. We also have the barrel lock for the side cargo door. Of course, the handle is off at the chromas. And we also have the ignition barrel, which we just have to play around with the pins because they weren't quite right. So we're just going to play around with those to make sure. And we have a little nice VW key there as well. We'll get that sorted soon. This has dried. We're going to give that a sand back. Now we also have a package from Russell over in the UK from the Wolfsburg Bus Company. Let's have a look and see what Russell sent me. We've got some goodies in here. We've got some 6-volt headlight globes. Oh, and a spider. He sent me a spider. Excellent. Let's just drop him in there. I don't think he's a venomous type. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's just come from here. We've got some rubber gaskets for the brake light. And we've got some lenses, globes. Yeah, not a nice goodies. Where did that spider go? We're used to spiders in Australia. There he is in there. It's a little garden spider. Pretty sure that's a garden spider. Yeah, that is. That's a harmless one. I know a lot of people freak out about him, but anyway, he can stay in there for now. I don't care. Anyway, yeah, so we've got some goodies over there from the UK. Thanks, Russell, for those. We will get those installed very quickly. All right, let's continue on. Okay, one of the next things I've just done off camera was just mask this up and paint it. That's our step, just in a satin black. So that's sitting there doing its thing, drying away. One more part ticked off. We also have the tyres in the house. Now, these came from America. They're Firestone, they're 4-ply, and they're very, very thin. Look like a motorbike tyre. Check that out. That's my hand. So, yeah, well, that was what was on this beast when it rolled out of the factory. So, there you go. We'll get those probably fitted next week sometime. And one more little job, which you guys would have remembered me doing in the past episode, was the horn button. Check that out. Came out pretty damn nice. You can see that very faint little crack there and across there, and that was that little Bakelite powder and epoxy that we sort of did a bit of an experiment with. I mean, look, it's a very fine line. I reckon it's pretty good. I gave the Bakelite a bit of a polish just using some Autosol metal polish on a rag, and yeah, that's done. Looks pretty good to me. So that's one more part we can tick off. Unfortunately, the battery is not coming up to charge, so I'm going to have to trick, because these smart chargers, they just won't pick up the voltage unless there's something in there, and there's only about 2 volts in this. So I'm going to have to get Dad's old school charger, which will kick it up, get it above that voltage amount, and then these will kick in and start working. So fingers crossed. I might just have to buy another one, but that is brand new, so it's just been sitting around for too long, so we'll see how we go with that. That's done. Next thing, steering wheel, we've got to paint that too, so we might get that masked up right now and give that a coat of black in the center section. Okay, here we have our steering wheel. You can see I use a pull cue and then drill a little hole up there, just hang it up, taped up the part that we don't want to go black, and we can spray the rest of this in a gloss black and call it good. And there we go, one coated steering wheel. And the trick to not getting runs is do one light coat, come back 10 minutes later, and then do a heavier coat, and then you shouldn't have any issues. And that's looking primo. No problemos at all. All right, we'll let that dry, and tomorrow we can take the tape off it and call it good. Okay, we are on to fitting the fan shroud. We've just got to put the generator and fan, which I've just torqued up. Here's the fan here. We're going to get him mounted. Got our new hardware. That. Pop him in like that. I did also just put this little support bar for the manifold. That's on too. That's resting on that. Okay, excellent. On to the next part. Okay guys, so it's the next day. Let's go and have a look what I've been doing off camera. Woohoo, look at this motor. She's starting to look the goods. So added a few more bits and pieces, obviously put the 6-volt coil and the leads. We've just got to work out which lead goes in which little hole. There's a little spike in there, which obviously, once you put the cap on, it depresses it down and spikes. Very unusual. I've never seen this type of distributor cap before, but anyway, that's done. The bottom tinware is on, the exhaust is on as well. Got that all sorted. Yeah, she's starting to come together. Gonna definitely need a hand to get this off the engine stand now, because it's starting, it'll become very heavy. A couple of things I still need to get. I need a bracket which comes off here and holds the top of that oil cap. Got to get that. What else do we need? We also need a fan belt. Yeah, we don't have that. I can go and put the carburetor on too, and a couple of the fuel lines. Yeah, so she's starting to look like a motor now, which is pretty cool. All right, let's keep putting a few more components on. Okay, so we have the fuel lines on. That's the 8mm fuel line into the carby. Obviously the carburetor's on. I have hooked up all the leads as well. So that actually took a bit of time to get that to depress and do its thing. So hopefully it works. And then obviously our fuel line that's going to run down to the back, that's done as well. Probably the next thing would be now is I'll get Oven Boy to come back down here. We'll have to get it off the stand, and then we can start playing with the shims for the flywheel. We've got that there ready to go. That's ready to get rock and rolled and put on, and then we can work out our end float, how many shims we need, and all that jazz. Yeah, that's probably it for here. I think we'll probably start looking into the cab again. I'm just trying to think what else we got to. Yeah, we'll probably just have to start doing the back now. Go and get some plywood and start decking out the rear of it. All right, let's get this sucker down. Righto, so we are going to move. All this upholstery here has to come off, so we've got to take the jail bars off. So a couple more screws over here, and let's get it done. comes out, and they're aluminium, so we'll give those a good polish up as well. Oh man, this is crusty. Quite thick vinyl too. Probably use that as a template. Yeah, don't need to. Now we've got to get these buzzer buttons here off. Okay, so here's our little buzzer. Now I can see there's a tiny little clip underneath it, one on top, so I think this cover here comes off. I'll just have to pry that off. Let's see how we go. I don't want to break it because this thing will be definitely unattainable. All right, let's see how we go. Okay, so how this comes apart is very, very interesting. There's the spring. This is going to be hard to try and do this one-handed. I've got to try and get you close. But yeah, basically that little retaining clip there holds this whole section together, and then it just slips into those little... I'll probably do it on the bench. I'll pull that out and then bring you back in again. Okay, so back onto the bench, I'll just show you this buzzer. What an ingenious little device. So there's obviously your button, and that sits like that. There you go. And then it clips into side there. And that's the little retaining clip that goes around that little notch. And that little notch, and that's what holds all that in. And obviously you've got your spring and your two terminals inside with your little brass screws that take the cable. One of those is earth, so that one just wraps around your screw, and the other one goes to the front of the cabin for power. Yeah, so what a cute little thing, hey? It's amazing, the technology. Now these are Hella, because I did spot a Hella logo just there on the back of it. It's very hard to see on that one. Yeah, there we go. You can see the logo on that. Very, very cool indeed. So I would say this is an ambulance only part. These are metal. Luckily they're not Bakelite, because we would have been in all sorts of trouble trying to get that apart. So very cool. I'm going to restore these, make them look new again. We'll try to polish up this little section here. You can see the chrome's not looking the best, but let's go and take it out of the buffer and see what happens. Okay, so after the buffer, check that out. That just came out amazing. Just took all that tarnish and 70 years of grime off them. They're awesome. Even the buttons, just polished up the buttons as well. And the backs, I've just put those through the blaster. You can see the little Hella logo now quite clearly. And it's got 81/12 on it, so I'm not sure, that's obviously the part number. But, you know, beautiful workmanship when you look at these. Anyway, we're going to give the back of these a coat of black paint, because that's what they were done with in the past. Okay, let's get those two suckers painted, and then we can put these back together. And at least that's some more parts done. These guys all here need to be polished up. They're all the jail bars. We've got to get them sorted as well. Let's keep moving. Okay guys, so one of the next things we have to start doing now is removing all the headliner and that cover plate, this board here. You can see I'm going to have to remove the light backing up there, which has some bolts in it, and we've just been slowly unscrewing. I've taken the old vinyl off here all the way around. And now for the roof liner, because unfortunately it's been damaged here and they've gone and ripped it. So it's, yeah, unfortunately we're going to have to replace it, which is a bummer, because, you know, the rest of it could have just had a good clean back there and it would have been good to go. But yeah, we're going to have to pull it out. So what we've got here is, try and get a bit more light here. They've got a little cover strip, and you can see here behind it, they've just put some nails, little brad nails, and I suspect there's some timber behind here, which there is. So this is just a cover plate we can rip off. Like that, and they've just got little sections of, we can probably reuse those too, which is good. We'll take those out, and then you can see here they've just gone and tacked little brads all the way around to actually put the material on. So we're going to try to remove this headlining in one piece so that Matt the upholsterer can take templates off it to remake it. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit of work. Okay, so that's probably going to do it for this week's episode. Nico's question for this week is, what year did the barn door split screen cease production and go into the later models that we all know? write it in the comments below. All right, we'll see you in the next episode. See you guys.